kick us off with that.
Was that my kickoff?
If you want it to be.
Oh, God. No.
Okay.
Maybe? I don't know. What am I supposed to do? I'm going to start sweating. Please stop. Okay.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Patty G Show. We are here for an exciting episode with Miss Greater Baton Rouge. That is right, we have Ella Cantrell in the studio. We are talking pageants, we are talking drama from small towns, and we're talking frog leg eating. So there's a lot coming your way. Make sure to stay tuned for the whole episode. Got some good stuff at the end. Thank you to our wonderful sponsors that bring you the show each and every week. Lakeman's Health Center and PB&J Productions. Without further ado, enjoy the show. You're here representing Miss Greater Baton Rouge.
I am.
Okay. Everybody just probably not aware of what that is. So let's start there. What is Miss Greater Baton Rouge and how did you become her?
Okay. Miss Greater Baton Rouge is a USA prelim. It is a pageant system that was a first-year competition, which was curated by Mariah Clayton, who you would know. Mm-hmm. She was a former Miss Louisiana. Amazing girl. So well-rounded. Took her title and ran with it. She loved the opportunities that gave her from that pageant. Her and her sister collectively decided that they wanted to give that to someone else. So they curated the Miss Greater Baton Rouge pageant, which was the title Mariah competed under when she won Miss Louisiana.
Got it. Which, so, I mean, she was a past Patty G Show guest. So,
she
was. I feel like that just
set the bar high.
That set the bar high.
It
like,
gave
even
her,
when, with Miss Louisiana.
Whatever.
Whatever.
We can put Miss Louisiana under that. She was on the Patty G Show and then Miss Louisiana. Right. So they began the works, I believe, about a year prior to hosting the pageant, which was in June. Took a leap of faith. Decided to do it. They wanted to give the same connections and opportunities that they had taken from the USA system and give it to someone else, put all of their time, energy, and effort, which luckily I am now the receiver of, and that's what Miss Greater Baton Rouge is.
So she did it 1 year and then decided to just kind of keep carrying it on?
This is the first year.
Okay, so this is the first year.
This is the first year she's done it.
Got it. Okay, so she was Miss Louisiana.
She was Miss Louisiana in 2020.
Yep, that's right, when she came on.
2020. And has Ace, is recently engaged. Mm-hmm. So she now has so much on her plate, but she wanted something to have for herself. It really, her and her sister both, it is something that they get to pour their energy into. It is almost like a creative outlet, I guess. But having this title, they're able to stay in the pageant world, which gave them so many opportunities. So now they're able to keep up with those people, those connections, those opportunities that helps them build themselves into the person they are today. So this is the first year and I'm really grateful to be it. So
how does it connect to Miss USA, right? Because I see you've got Miss USA up top and then you got Miss Greater Baton Rouge obviously is the main thing. So how does that tie in? Is there a circuit system? Are we talking there? Is there levels? How does this work? Okay.
So pageant system, which a lot of people get under the misinterpretation of, is that there are a bunch of different circuits.
Okay.
A lot of them stand for different things. You can have your own philanthropy for certain circuits. You can have something meaning behind it for a different pageant system. The USA system is the one televised on TV that you typically see for your Miss USA, your Miss Universe, that kind of thing. You do not have to have a prelim to compete at a state pageant. But in order to get to the Miss USA system, you have to have a state title.
Got it.
Having a prelim does give you a step up, I would say. Everyone does have a fighting equal chance. You can just compete if you want to compete. If you want to push yourself and put yourself out there, free for all, girl, go do it. You're fully able to. You pay the pageant fees. You put yourself out there. You do the work. It's out there. You have the opportunity. A prelim gives you the step up, as in I have two wonderful directors and I have sponsors that help me get there and help me with interview and give me service opportunities and guide me to be more open and well-rounded throughout my community. So when I go to compete, it's not just your surface level, hey, I'm here to just compete and be on TV. It's
got it.
No, I'm working for something other than myself.
So you've got NIL deals behind all this.
I wouldn't say NIL deals.
I mean, you said you got sponsors helping you out.
I'm very eternally grateful for my sponsors. They do make my life a lot easier. They make sure that I always look put together. I have my best foot forward. I am always well-spoken and well represented in my title. I always want to be a good version of myself and representation for the prelim. I want to be what these women are. I want to be a showcase for not only the Greater Baton Rouge area, but what we have to offer and what people can have for themselves. It's an opportunity to not only represent a wonderful city full of opportunity, but to truly put yourself out there.
Yeah. So how did we get here? How did we get to sitting in the chair here today?
Mariah does it all. She really does.
No, like back up. Like, how did you even get into the pageant system overall?
Okay.
Like, I know I've got a daughter, and
okay. How's your daughter?
She's 1.5 and some change. So
good luck.
Yeah, it's a hot mess right now.
Oh, it only gets worse. Don't worry, I am living proof of that.
She's a little ball of fire. We thought she was going to be the tame one, but she's not.
They never are. A girl never is. She hides it really well. Every woman is crazy, but it's
she doesn't hide it. it's. I mean, she's 15 months. There's no hiding anything. She lets all the emotions on full display.
That's okay.
And like now we've gotten to the point where we got to tell her no sometimes, and she looks at she's like.
Like surprised.
Oh, then she's like, okay. What? And then she'll the slowest fall down to the ground. And then she just lays down and she just looks at you.
She waits for you to give her.
And she just looks at you. I'm just like, you
can sit there, girl.
You can sit there all you want.
Have your moment.
We're going outside. See you. Bye.
You give her her moment. You let her cool down.
Like we're going to play. If you want to come, you can come. But you can.
You have your little moment.
You can have your little moment.
And
here.
we're gonna proceed.
Right. And so But it's funny because she's coming from, we had a boy first, but then we bring her to her friend's house that have all girls. She totally loves all the different things and all the different girl toys and everything. So I'm like, okay, there's some part of that in every little girl that's like, they want to grow up and do something that's
100%. So
what was...
I grew up in a boy household.
Okay.
I grew up in a very small town called Rain, Louisiana.
Good old Rain.
It is nothing fancy. It is rice and crawfish fields. It is frogging. It's actually the frog capital of the world. I was Miss Rain. I won a frog leg eating competition. So
hold on, time out. What?
Yeah. Frog leg eating competition against my dad. I have a little trophy. It is probably my prized possession in my room.
Did he let you win?
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say I did that all on my own. However you want to interpret it is up to you.
You have the trophy. That's it.
I have
That's
the trophy.
All that matters.
It doesn't matter.
You got the trophy.
I was the winner. I was the one in the newspaper. And
you were in the newspaper?
I was very excited. My grandma's like the cute little grandma that cuts out all the newspapers when we're in them. Even when you're in the awkward stage of school, when you're presented with your honor roll and principal's this award. Oh, it's decoupaged on my grandma's fridge. You can't get past any of the awkward moments in life. But back to that. So
what? I'm still fascinated. I know. With this
I love
frog
throwing
leg.
that on people.
So at what age did you? I mean, I didn't know there was a competition for such, but it's Rain, Louisiana. I didn't know it was the capital, the frog leg capital. Oh, you have the frog
Frog festival. It's frog capital of the world. Put some respect on the small town city.
I need to get to Rain. When's the festival?
There's really nothing.
I need to go to the festival.
It's a great city full of great people. Festivals in May. So
festivals. Okay, they're not doing a good job promoting it here because I wasn't aware of it.
No, probably not. It's a very small town thing.
But I know, frog leg.
It's lots of fun.
Frog leg festival.
Character development, to a T.
I would be there.
It's a good time.
Okay, so at what age you I'm going to sit on the table and compete?
I was Miss Rain my senior year of high school, so 2022. So that was my first pageant, and it was my grandma was Miss Rain. She really wanted me to do it. It was I'm going to do it for my grandma kind of thing. Okay. It was cool. I loved what Rain gave to me, and my grandma wanted me to do it so badly. And my Nana is my best friend in the whole world. She is truly so saintly, a spunk of fire. She will put me in my place before anybody else will. But she will also push me to be the best version of myself. So did Miss Rain for her.
So what was involved in Miss Rain?
I wouldn't say
walk us through what is expected on the back end prep work and what you're expected to do starting with Miss Rain.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the city and festival circuit is to the extreme of USA. It's more of knowing the information about your city and your festival. For festival pageants, you need to know the ins and outs of everything. that wasn't really ever my cup of tea. I just really loved rain. I only wanted to do it because I loved my small town city so much. And to say that I shared, my grandma and I were actually 50 years apart in raining. So that was super cool.
In raining?
Like the year you reign, like the year you win.
So you reigned in rain?
Yes, I reigned in rain. It is R-A-Y-N-E, though.
You know I couldn't let that go,
That's
though.
fair.
Right,
That's
but
fair.
the folks listening to this without transcription, they're not going to be able to read that.
It's
they're just going to hear it.
R-A-Y-N-E, not R-A-I-N. So
she reigned in rain. Okay,
I
guys,
did.
that's she reigned in rain.
Rain.
All right.
So, not to the full extent. It was more just knowing the heritage, the people, what you wanted to represent for is in every title. You need to be
what's the heritage of rain?
It's just good people. It's good people. It's good food. It's small town hospitality. It's knowing that you have a good place to land. It's being grounded. It's having sticking up for your people. You're not better than anybody else. And I will give my small town all the credit to the way I am today and not putting my nose up in the air. You're not better than anybody else. People put in the work for you to get you places. So turn around and do it for somebody else. Whenever you're really far in success, turn around and grab somebody's hand and pull them with you because someone else did it for you.
Right.
So
unless they're trying to beat you in frog legging, then
my dad is trying to beat me in a frog leg competition, and then I hope he's sweating on the side of me not being able to chew his frog legs. So that was more of the mission I went into when I won. It was, I love what it has done for me. I want to be able to show not only people in the area, but just younger surrounding that people in the city you surround yourself in is so important. It really is the foundation for who you become as a person and how you interpret yourself to other people. So prepping for Miss Rain, I had a very South Louisiana coach. She was basically just like, here's all your facts, memorize them, know your city, but know who you are as a person, kind of thing. And
to a senior in high school.
To a senior in high school.
Know who you are as a person.
Yes. And while I was very young, I've always been very self-aware in the fact that I grew up in a household that really pushed me to know who I was and what I stood for. I'm still so grateful for that, but being mature, growing up, and surrounding yourself, like you're picky with who your people are and who your inner circle is.
Right.
And I think exuberating that in my interview on stage, on my onstage question was really something that it wasn't just, I love rain, I love my city. It was like, I am so grateful for what this has done for me and who it has made me. And I was very clear. It was like, I'm moving to Baton Rouge. I'm going to Miss LSU, but these are the qualities that these people in this city has gave me. And I want to be able to show that, yes, you can love your small town, but your small town can give you so much and it can take you so many places. It doesn't have to keep you here. It's always a good place to come back to and to ground yourself to, but take the qualities and the people more than anything.
Yeah.
So that confidence, never thought I would do another pageant from there, ever.
I mean, how do you top that?
It was awesome. I loved it. It was one and done. I got to travel the whole state of Louisiana. I got to go to festivals. I got to go to other city pageants, learn about their history, their heritage, do all of their weird, quirky, fun traditions. I have a picture of me milking a cow. I'll show y'all later. It was the weirdest experience
we can do a picture-in-picture, Jay. We'll just put it right on the screen.
Weirdest experience of my whole life. So cool, though.
You never milked a cow before?
I never milked a cow.
But I feel like in rain, you would have had more encounters to run into cow milking than you would in like Baton Rouge.
I mean, frogging, yes, but I'm not just going like milk a cow. Like, this is not like the Middle Ages, y'all. Like, I actually don't know what time period that they milked cows.
Now, you still milk cows now.
You still milk cows now, but like, there's like, you don't just sit there with a bucket and milk a cow, you know? Like,
yeah, you do.
You can, but like, there's other ways to do it. So like,
it's like I grew up milking goats.
Well, gold star for you. I mean, like, do you want a cookie and a gold star? Like, no. I can get you my little trophy if you really want it. Everybody can feel important. Everyone's a winner, y'all.
You know, my grandfather did like bring a bottle to school, and after school he would go through the pasture and milk a cow into the bottle and like drink that on his way. And like, why was he walking?
Okay, is this like the pity story that my grandpa always used to tell me? He was like, I used to hold a warm potato and walk to school, and I was like, You did not.
Wait, someone told me a story about warm potatoes the other day.
He was like,
is that the new thing that's going around for like the pity, like the snow uphill both ways? Now it's a warm potato. Look, what's the potato?
My papa is so cute. Like, he is precious. But he was like, "Ew, I used to have to walk to school with a warm potato. Life was hard." I said, "We don't have winter, Papa. It was never that cold. It was never that cold. You get like 2 weeks of a freeze in like February." But
we had 9 inches of snow this year.
Okay, that was like, it was 125 years, my grandma told me. First time in 125 years. So I'm not pitying anyone in the South for cold. It doesn't happen. No. Put on a jacket. You're fine. But I don't even remember where we were going with that.
Milking cows.
Milking cows. Oh my God. So
you got to milk a cow.
Got to milk a cow.
You thought was just, but see, that's the funny part about Louisiana, right? Catching frogs, normal. Milking a cow into a bucket, weirdest thing ever. You just said it was the weirdest thing ever.
Like that, you said it was normal. You said you milked.
I said it was normal.
People are just, what I learned coming from a small town or different areas in Louisiana is that everyone's growing up was so different.
Oh yeah,
so different. So I take so much appreciation into the way I did things because it scares people sometimes, and they're like, "You did that?" I'm like, "Yeah," and it was so much fun, and I loved it, and I would have known no different if I wouldn't have left.
Right.
So that was it, but I never thought I'd do another one. Thought that was my capping off. Got to do awesome things. Was a South Louisiana girl down to my core. I still am. I will probably never leave this state. I'll travel. I'll go places, but I will.
It's good to travel.
It's good to travel. Mm-hmm. It is so good to travel. Get yourself out there, do new things, meet new people, have experiences that this place can't offer you, but have yourself rooted here, kind of thing. So never thought I'd do it again. My sophomore year, I really struggled in self-evaluation, like losing myself. I mean, new seasons of life, you always question who you are. You always question your foundations and your core beliefs. When you meet new people, when you welcome new situations into your life, there's going to be roadblocks and the fuzzy in between of, is this still who I am? Is this still what I stand for, kind of thing. So my mom actually had the suggestion to enter my first USA pageant. I was scared out of my mind.
You're out of practice.
And I didn't really care. I was just like, this is cool and this is awesome for those people who enjoy this. But it never really was my thing. It was never something that I was really attracted to, just because I didn't know the deeper meaning behind the USA system. I knew Rain because it was what I loved and it was what I stood for. But
and
USA.
Your grandmother was Miss Rain.
And my grandma was Miss Rain. It's like tradition. I needed to do it, you know? Right. Now we have a really tight bond. We always have. But she pushed me to go be authentically myself in a new situation. She was like, there are going to be so many different girls from so many different backgrounds, but if you stay stuck, people don't change when they're comfortable. People change when they're uncomfortable. And I was so uncomfortable. It was
a very hard side eye.
I was so uncomfortable.
It's very hard side eye.
I was so uncomfortable. So I was a huge dancer growing up, was so committed to that. It took every hour of the second I was awake until I went to sleep. Like, it was my true commitment, like literally loved it to its core. It was like my thing. Like, everybody has their thing, and that was my thing. Gave that up in college and I didn't have a thing. When I did this pageant, it became my obsession. I loved the fact that I wasn't trying. Yes, you're trying to please judges, but people can see through the fakeness of a pageant girl.
So like what all goes into, like, what are you trying to do, or what are you actually doing outside of like the stage with the judges? Like, obviously you've got to do a whole bunch of other things behind the scene, community involvement, so on and so forth. So what was all that prep that you were just like cling to?
Truthfully?
I mean, I wouldn't want to lie.
Last year I did it so wrong.
Okay.
My first pageant, I did it so wrong. I played by the books and I tried to do it the way they wanted me to. The way I thought everybody was supposed to be. I tried to fit into that cookie cutter mold of, this is what a pageant girl should be. They are so perfect. They wear white. They speak correctly. They do everything. They don't have any character. I thought I was out of place being so small town and so loudly opinionated. I buried all of that so deeply just because I wanted to be liked by somebody else. And I realized that I didn't do well because they don't want somebody that's fake. They want somebody that's going to be a good, authentic representation. From there, I did it again. Because while I was satisfied with how I did and the amount of hard work and effort I had put in, I wasn't authentic. I wasn't competing for anything other than me. I competed for the justification of knowing that I was good enough. You can find out you're good enough by having people tell you good job. Like, you don't need to go do a pageant or win a competition or run a marathon for people to tell you that you're good enough. Like, you have to.
Did you have to run a marathon?
Hell no. I'm not running unless somebody is chasing me. Absolutely not. This girl does not run. If I'm running, everybody else better be running with me. Like, if I'm running, there's a purpose and it's because someone's chasing me. Absolutely not. I do not run. But
fair point.
You don't need to be liked by everybody, but you need to be satisfied in what you work for. So redid it so differently. When I competed for Miss Greater Baton Rouge, I was like, my coach, who he straight up told me, he was like, you are boring.
You're boring.
He told me that, but it wasn't to hurt my feelings. It was like, your answers are so cookie cutter. You are giving me everything that you think you are supposed to give me. There is no deeper meaning behind anything that is coming out of your mouth. They know you're being fake. And I was like, oh, kind of hurt my feelings. A little bit. He was like, what are you competing for? And I had no answer. I did not have a singular answer. And I love on-stage question and I love to talk. And for the first time, I did not have words. I was like, I don't know what I'm competing for.
Was that like an on-stage question?
It wasn't, but it's typically a question in an interview.
So what are you competing for?
I, coming from a small town, have had so much invested into me. So many people believed in me with their whole heart and soul, put in so much of their time, dedication, hard work, gifts, and talents to get me to where I am now. And I want to do that for the person behind me. Like I said earlier, like, when you're successful, put the person behind you. Like, the only reason you're where you are is because someone was gracious enough to reach their hand out and give it to you and put a little bit of what they have into you to give you that step up. So I realized that community and philanthropic work with adolescents was really where I wanted to put my time and energy. Growing up with a healing house, Hope for Grieving Children, it's in Lafayette. And it is a nonprofit organization that instills in adolescents the grief and coping mechanisms for someone that has lost an immediate or a loved one or someone in their inner circle. And I realized that that's why I was so self-aware, is because I had so many people that were so good to me and gave me those coping mechanisms and invested so much time and energy into me that I wouldn't be where I am or as self-aware or as compassionate for others as I am today without having somebody instill that onto me. So now I love to advocate for Healing House because they were so amazing to me. I will promote them till literally my ends. I still do work with them. I do what was it this past year? Their promotional video for Martinis, which is their like huge fundraiser, which houses the house and all the things and all the like charity events for them. So love still giving back to them. It's just like a full circle kind of moment. But through my Baton Rouge title, which I would not have been able to have this opportunity without this title now, but I knew it's something I always wanted to get to, was working with the Boys and Girls Club in Louisiana, is investing in the future citizens. Like, legitimately, everybody's going to get old. Like, the cycle continues. Like, life is not forever. Like, it is a full merry-go-round of like continuously, it's not going to be your people forever. Like, it's also the people under you, and it's also people, the older people. And investing in those younger people is so beneficial because I love to see giving back. Like seeing the light or seeing like one piece of advice that they could have heard from their mom 1,000 times. And my mom will tell me this as a parent, and I will probably feel it one day as a parent as well. I could have told you something 1,000,000 times, but hearing it from a different voice will give you a different perspective.
Oh, yeah.
And it really did. And now that I'm older and doing the same and like actively volunteering or giving back or just putting in the behind the scenes work or time and energy, seeing someone's face light up when you hear that same piece of advice, it almost is relieving to know that I was able to give that to someone else. I want to show that you don't need to be stuck. Like you have the same opportunities as everyone else does. You just have to go get them. But surrounding yourself with the inner circle of people who will continue to push you, continue to invest in you, continue to give their time and effort is something that really is my platform. And it gives deeper meaning besides just being the person on the screen or the person on the stage.
Yeah. So what's some of the tougher questions that they ask you on stage?
On stage question is probably the easiest part.
Really?
I think so. My dad was a public speaker. Okay. So it always, talking was never an issue. Mm-hmm. I was usually told to be quiet. I could go on forever. It's so fun. You know, it's how you meet people. It's how you make connections kind of thing. You can't make connections like being awkward in a corner and like not putting yourself out there. Like conversations are awkward. So just go out and do them and conversation flows. But I think being aware, you have to be aware in what you stand for, truthfully. Because if you're not aware, you're not going to have an answer. When I first started this whole realm of pageantry and figuring out what you want to do and what you stand for and all these things, I didn't have any answers because I wasn't aware. I thought I was. Clearly was not. So if you know your deeper meaning, questions come easily. So, for example, I think one of them was what you would use your platform for. And you have so many things going through your head. It is like stage fright at that point. So it just comes out. And because I knew what I wanted to do and like how I wanted to do things and like your goal behind whatever it is, you can kind of bend that answer into any answer. Like whatever you really stand for can kind of morph into any answer they're gonna really ask you. Besides politics, which
world peace.
World peace.
It's always world peace.
It's always world peace. But it really is just being confident in knowing what it is that you stand for. They're really on stage in your interview, they're gonna dive deeper into who you are and who you are as a person and what your hopes and dreams are, or your heritage or your background or all the things. Those are a little more rehearsed answers. Like you kind of just need to know your information about yourself or what you're competing for. But your on-stage answer really is just going to be who you are, what you want, what do you want to do, and how are you going to do it? Those four are pretty much going to be any question for on stage because they're not going to stump you.
They don't? So do you know the questions beforehand?
You don't. And I think that's what anticipation in any circumstance is what eats people alive. It's the fear of the unknown. People love to have control. Everyone loves to be in control or be in the know. And I think the fear of the unknown is what scares people the most. You don't have control. You don't know what you're going to answer. You need to be knowledgeable enough and educated enough to answer with grace in class, but you can't have a rehearsed answer. In interview, you usually give a sheet of paper with your answers to questions that they will possibly ask. So you kind of know what they're going to ask.
So like you give them the answers beforehand?
They usually have an itinerary of who you are before you walk in.
Okay.
So basically like an itinerary of your day is basically going to be like a rundown of yourself. You're going to give some vague answers that you can then elaborate on so they can ask you questions on. But it's kind of set out in the fact of this is a very brief, like a bio. It's a very brief explanation of who I am. Mm-hmm. Ask me questions off of that. They're going to be like, oh, I see your greatest accomplishment was you won a frog leg eating competition. It's always my fun fact. I throw that in there. And they're like, how did that happen? Then I explain my small town heritage, my childhood, my love for rain. And this is how I competed for rain, because it gave me deeper meaning and because I loved it, not because I wanted to be someone on stage. Like, I loved what it stood for.
Right.
So you give your vague answers. They ask you deeper questions. You're on stage. It's the fear of not knowing what they're going to ask. And you really just have to be so grounded in who you are. If you're not, it will show.
So have you ever been stumped?
I've never been stumped.
Ooh.
I usually take an awkwardly 5 seconds to breathe and think about my answer. If you don't think about your answer beforehand, it can typically come out as word vomit.
Well, of course.
But I am so grateful. My dad was a public speaker. So grateful, because he made me aware. He was like, think about it. You don't need to say the first thing that comes to your brain. You don't.
Oftentimes it's better to not.
Oftentimes it's better to not. That intrusive thought barrier is there for a reason, and you need to let it do its work. You need to compose yourself and come up with a good answer. You answer the question, you give a reason, and you relate. So in those 5 seconds, I just have the groundwork, kind of come up with the first words that are going to come out of my mouth, and then go from there.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love, what were those 3 things? You give a reason.
You give a reason. You give a reason. You give a reason why. So no, you answer, you give a reason, and you relate.
Reason and relate. Okay. Man, see, let's further break that part down. Okay. Let's break down the mechanics behind the question answering. Because when it's viewed, right? So Miss USA is on televised, right? So when people are watching it, they're just like, oh, these are just, whatever, these questions are so rehearsed, but it's not. It's more detailed and more methodical and more training behind it on how to answer a question by using those 3 steps. A lot of people fall under the umbrella of just going about it and thinking how they want to answer and just spitting out whatever comes to their brain. People stop listening. That's how you get world peace.
That's how you get world peace with every question. You circle back and you're like, and world peace.
Right.
No one wants to hear that answer. They are paying attention when they hear the question on the microphone and the first words that come out your mouth. So you always have to answer first. TikTok ruined people's attention spans, including mine. I have the attention span of like a 3-year-old iPad kid. It's awful. I'm so guilty of it. I know. It's fine. At least I'm self-aware. I mean, I know it. Like, I'll watch a video and I'll scroll and I'm like, I didn't finish the video, and I'll scroll back down.
Like, you didn't get to the punchline.
No.
You're like, I didn't get to the punchline. Hang on, wait.
Okay, let me go
back up, get the punchline.
I'm a victim of it. It's fine. So don't save your answer for the end. A lot of people will circle back around to their answer. You need to answer it right away. You give your very clear, concise answer, nothing too long, very clear. And then you resonate to it. So answer, reason. So I'm going to give my answer. This is why I give my answer. And then you relate to people. You make it a personable experience, because again, a lot of people, like Dollars and Tiaras, that TV show is so fake. It's so fake.
Is it?
Oh my God. That is like so reality TV to the point that it hurts. Like,
you mean Honey Boo Boo's all fake?
Oh no, Honey Boo Boo's hilarious. I love that girl. I feel like if I could be reincarnated as one person, it would be Honey Boo Boo. She is hilarious. That girl is a loud opinionator, and so am I. But
she's still, I feel like that show was like 20 years old.
I think we're the same age.
No.
I think so.
I feel like, interesting. I feel like that show like was on way
but that was like the
long ago. But
this
she was
thing, and they wore like the little cupcake dresses, and
well, I guess she was also like 5 or 6 at the time.
She was.
Yeah.
She was. So I think shows like that give a false interpretation of the surface level that they think pageant girls are.
Right.
Which is a fair statement.
That's what it's designed to do.
Which is such a fair statement. Like, if that is your only interpretation of the system, I wouldn't judge you for it. Like, you know nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was mine at one point in time before I actually got into the realm of it myself. So when it comes time for, you really do see just the interview. You don't even see the interview. You see the onstage question for the top 5, top 10, and then you see all the for show stuff. That is the easiest part. it's all the background work. It's all the volunteer. It's all the getting involved in the community. It's the knowing who you are. That is where all the hard work is. That is where you're not just this surface level human. You're serving for something other than yourself. Like, realistically, every girl that competes is competing for something. Yes, everyone loves to win. That is a common factor amongst all people. No one likes to hear the word no, and no one likes to lose. But if you are competing, and I think that was my biggest takeaway, is that, and it was my motto for one of my questions, is there's no loss. You either win or you learn. And if you're competing for something other than yourself, you're only learning, and you're learning how you could do it differently and how you can do it better. And that's either in expressing what you're working for or what you want to grow in more. Like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like observance, like other people to be aware. There's different way you could do things. You don't look at it as a loss, because all these girls have lost more than they have won. But they keep going back because they're competing for something other than themselves.
Thank you to our wonderful sponsor, Lake Men's Health Center with Our Lady of the Lake Physicians Group. Guys, I know it's tough to get out and go to the doctor. I know it's challenging to find time in our busy days, but I promise you, signing up to be a part of this group with Dr. Curtis Chastain and Dr. Tyler Boudreau, you won't regret it for several reasons, but most of those being the fact of the time it saves, where you're able to get in on the same day, get that appointment done, and spend that time you need to talk with them about what your health goals and concerns are, as well as ensuring that the financial investments you have, you will be able to live out and see those come to fruition. So if you're an investing guy, you know all about and planning for the future and investing in the future. There's no other more important thing to invest in than your health. Make sure you go check them out, Our Lady of the Lake Physicians Group Men's Health Center, and tell them Patty G sent you.
So, I think that's what I'm doing now.
Well, I mean, you're having to live out what you're saying on stage.
100%, and so people can see it.
Right. You can't say, oh, I do it for the kids, and then not do anything for the kids in your community.
If there's nothing to back up your work,
right,
in your surface level, and that's okay. But people have to learn from that. You lose pretty much 9 out of 10 times in those circumstances, and you have to learn how to do it differently. And I'm living proof of that. I didn't have anything to work for or serve for before I had done this. And I realized that there needs to be deeper meaning for what I compete for. There needs to be something that I serve. You don't just compete for the crown and the sash. You compete for the people. You compete for what you work for or what you want to shed light on. You don't just compete for the reign and glory and the flowers on stage. And people can see straight through that. So,
yeah, because then it's like, where do you go from there? Great, you got the crown, you got the sash, you got the flowers.
Now you have a platform and you have to follow through.
Right.
You have to really become involved. You have to do all the volunteer. You have to be involved in the community. And if there's no drive for it, then you just show up and you smile. And that's not really what people want. They want someone that is integrated in their community. They want someone that actually cares. So when you do these volunteer opportunities, you don't show up in your crown and sash. You're not better than anybody else. You don't hold your nose up. You don't act like you're better. You go and you just serve for the purpose of serving. You're not there to show, oh, look, I won. No, I'm really here to put forth something for somebody else.
Yeah.
It's not just because you won.
Yeah,
There's other people that get you there.
Yeah, you're living out your reason.
Absolutely.
You're saying your answer on stage, and then you're showing it by actually participating day in and day out in what you're alleging that you support.
There's got to be follow through, because at that point, people are watching you.
Especially if you've won.
Especially if you've won. Get out there and do what you said you were going to do.
So is there expectations once you win of follow through, follow up, especially now with social media, right? Beforehand, yeah, there wasn't that much that they could expect you to prove without bringing a camera crew or whatever. But now it's you're literally here, with your phone filming certain things. Is there this level of expectation where you kind of have to go and do that stuff for them to post, promote, publish, what have you?
I wouldn't say there's certain criterias and expectations. I wouldn't say there's, no one hands you a sheet of paper and says, this is what you have to do this year. There are certain things you need to be present at. But it's really up to what you make it. It's how involved you want to be. But when you get to the point of winning, and again, at that point, you have probably lost more than you have won, you have a drive to be involved. You don't want to just sit there and be known as the person that just won the title and didn't do anything.
Right.
At that point, you go out and you become involved yourself because you can. Truthfully, having this platform is something that has aided me in so many ways, because when you do have a title, so many doors open. Because I'm not going to say people want you there, but people listen to you a little bit more when you have something behind your name, unfortunately. But I think that gives me the grace and gratitude to take advantage of it fully. And while I didn't have it prior, now that I'm able to take full advantage of it, it is an opportunity that has a timeline. It is a year reign, and it is the most you make of it. So go do as much as you can. Get involved. Do the opportunities. Reach out to people. Go be present at certain events. Do something that you wouldn't have been able to email. Like, email people when they see a title in that email or a name that they can research and know, that like opens the gateway for so many things. And while you have it, take full advantage of it, because at the end of the day, like, it does come to an end. So do it while you still can. So it's not a set list of criteria of things you need to do. It's more of a, hey, this is it. Go make of it what you want to.
So what is the year-long calendar for you look like? Have you planned out that far? So it's June to June. Okay.
June to June.
So you're halfway through.
I'm halfway through.
Okay. So what are some of the things that you've been seeking out to be involved with on the first half?
Oh my God. This was a really cool opportunity. So I'm going to put that out there.
All right, come on now. Not to
put you on a pedestal. But I have done lots of philanthropic work, whether it's back in Lafayette or here. Working with the Boys and Girls Club really is probably my tried and true. It really does like fuel my soul, if that makes sense. And everyone that I have volunteered with and worked for, whether it's the Christmas program that they did, which was so beautiful in so many ways. I literally started crying when I was there, because all the kids were like singing a Christmas carol and like all together, and it was so full of joy and so pure in so many ways. And it was the getting to see it firsthand. Addicted to it is not the word, but seeing the joy of children and like seeing all of these other people that are so invested in them putting forth that energy, it's almost like you're drawn to it. You want to be surrounded by people like this, and you want to be accompanied and respected by people who want to put in work for somebody else. So I truthfully think my volunteer work, yes, I've had some awesome opportunities to do some cool things, but at the end of the day, volunteer work is free, and it's something you give. Anything else you could buy for a price tag, that doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Nothing, what you did is going to be known at your funeral, not the things you bought, not the things you wore, not the things that, materialistic things are not the real reason behind all of it. It's cool and it's awesome, and everybody loves like getting free stuff, but that's not what they're going to remember you by. It's going to be how much you did, how much you put yourself out there. And Baton Rouge is not my home. It is not. And getting into the community, while it was something I always had longed for, and it was something that I was so passionate about because it has been an amazing second home for me and given me so many awesome opportunities, it's still something new and it's still something uncomfortable. But you have to challenge yourself to do those things. And whether I come back to Baton Rouge, stay here for 5 years, stay here for 5 months, like you want to invest in the city before you invest in yourself. So
that's good. So what's upcoming? What's next? What does the next 6 months look like? And then what is thereafter for you?
There's never a set calendar, if I'm going to be so honest. Never a set calendar. It's kind of, Mariah gives me a phone call and she's like, hey, can you do this next week? And I'm like, yep, that sounds good. Oh God. For example, Morning Girls next week?
Week after. Yeah.
Okay. Mariah calls me, and I don't know if I'm supposed to. I never know what I can say or not say. Or
we can cut it out if we need to.
It's not anything bad. But she had called me, and she's like, hey, I forgot that I booked you for this. You're going to do it next Friday morning. You're going to read to these children. And I'm like, that sounds awesome. Thanks so much. Like, put it in my calendar. Cool. She living here and being a native longer than I have and knowing so many people has also given me an awesome opportunity because she has those relationships built already. And the fact that she puts her trust and effort in me gives me a step up places. It gives me a sense of credibility because she believes in me. So she has opened the door to so many gateway opportunities of having people trust me in their environment, which is really such a beautiful feeling because inviting someone into your inner circle is scary, especially if it's someone that you don't know who they are as a person. And having her trust and believe in me and be like, hey, these people want you here. And I'm like, that is awesome. Like, I would love to go do that and love to integrate with this certain circle or whoever it is, or go talk to these people, or grandparents' day, or like leadership activities at school. Like, knowing that I am welcomed and appreciated in certain places and can give a space of advice or like condolences or any of those aspects or realms is kind of just what I hope to continue to do through the next 6 months. And Mariah paves a beautiful walkway in being able to set up those opportunities for me. So it's never a set calendar. It's kind of more just see how it comes and goes. And also how, for example, I did a couple volunteer opportunities with the Boys and Girls Club, and now I am certified and I go there weekly, and it is my now service learning project for my class. Like, I've diving deeper into the real meaning of the nonprofit instead of just going and showing up. Like, now it's become a piece of me instead of something that I went to. It's something that I genuinely look forward to. It's something that I believe in their mission. And so now it's not just for the title, it's more become a part of my life.
Right.
And so, yes, it's going to be the next 6 months as well. And I'm still going to go show up and I'm still going to do these things and integrate that into my reign as well. But it's become more of a lifestyle and a cheesy way to put it, but it's integrated more into a natural way of life more than a, this is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, it's going to last beyond the reign.
Absolutely.
So what do you foresee after the reign do you see a life still within the Miss USA circuit, working your way up? I mean, you said you wouldn't get to this far.
Yeah, actually.
Are you already looking at the next tier, the next level?
For sure. I cannot preach pageants enough. I know it is such a cheesy thing to say, but I feel like my level of confidence and my level of conversations with people and my ability to see beyond the discomfort of new situations has completely dismissed since I've been in the pageant world. It has challenged me to be sincere is not the word, but just more self-aware, really. Just confident in being authentic. My first go round, I preached confidence, sincerity, and self-love. And truthfully, I still stand behind those three tiers of knowing that I am now stable in the kind of person I am and the kind of person I want to showcase and who I want to compete for. You really just want to keep it going. Like, this platform has been amazing and I want more. Like, to continue to have those opportunities, to continue to be integrated, to continue to be involved. Like, those are things that, yes, you can do on your own, but you are given like literally a paved road of like opportunities, endless opportunities of people just wanting to integrate you into their social circles and like environments of, we want you here. Let's do this. Yes. Oh my God, I would love to come. This is an awesome opportunity. Thank you so much for even inviting me.
Right.
The continuation of this circuit is really to know who you are, be confident in who you are, and also know who you want to become and how you want to showcase that to other people. And I think the challenge of that, and coming from a small town, my small town people are very clear in who they are and what they want to be. They are very authentically themselves.
Uh-huh.
My dad is a Cajun coon who is A-okay with being that.
Yeah.
And he knows it. And I love it. And I love coming from that. But I grew up with that being who I was, and I questioned that for a season of life. And I think knowing that that is okay, and I can still be this small town girl with big dreams, but those big dreams are still out there, but you have to go get them. No winner is handed a crown. It is not just given to them. It is something that is worked for. It is something that you are dedicated to. And I think the continuation of that would only help me to grow and only help me to create those deeper connections. I've made so many connections and had amazing opportunities through this. I want to prolong those. I want to continue to keep those up with or without a crown.
Right.
Whether I compete for another title in 6 years or 6 months. Like, I want to keep those connections, whether I have it or not. But I think having a title does give you a step forward.
Absolutely. Welcomes you in, you know?
Yes.
So that's exciting to hear and exciting for the horizon. As we start to wrap up, we do ask every guest the same set list of questions. Very hard-hitting stage questions. We like to throw the curveballs at you, you know? So here we go.
I'm not athletic, so I probably won't hit a home run. So I can walk in a straight line, and that's about it. I have rhythm, but I will not be hitting any balls. I was not athletic. I don't have 2 left feet, but hand-eye coordination, not my thing. Not my thing. And I own it. It's okay.
Yeah, sports was not my thing either. At least like
I will cheer. I will be your number 1 fan in the stands. Do not ask me to get on that field because it's not happening.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. But anyhow, what is something you did as a kid you wish you could still do today? We stumped her. We stumped her, Jay.
Probably wear my justice outfits to church, wear my Dorothy Red shoes out in public and not be judged. Those, I was not afraid. I was a very overdressed child.
It's all good.
And I remember it so vividly, and I'll get y'all a picture of it. I wore a red satin dress everywhere. Everywhere. It was ugly. It was so ugly, and I loved it because it made me feel so myself. And I wish there was a portion of that I could still take, that I didn't care what anyone else thought, and I didn't care how ugly it was. It made me feel like the best version of myself, and I wore it everywhere, and I wore it so proudly. And I think to take a piece of that mindset and know that whatever you do or whatever you wear it proudly, and don't let anyone's interpretations or opinions decipher from that.
I love it.
Thanks.
Yeah, we'll put another PIP.
That red satin dress,
red
y'all,
satin
it is
dress.
ugly, and I wore it everywhere, probably till the hem's ripped.
You know, when you like it, you like it.
I think my mom still has it. I'm not joking.
Should get it and frame it.
You're so right. I will never do that.
You should.
It'll stay in a box.
No, I think it should go on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Proudly display it.
Like a jersey.
That's it. That's it. Or look, bring it in the studio and we'll put it up there. You sign the glass case and we'll put it up. We'll put it up behind
You are
us.
never getting that red satin dress. You are never getting that. That is a piece of my childhood, and you will never get that.
So you've been doing this for quite some time now. What are 3 lessons you have learned along the way?
3 lessons. Push yourself into the uncomfortable, because no one ever grows when they're comfortable. Know who you are and be okay with it. Don't try to morph anybody else's opinions into your own. Be very level-headed in who you are as a person, and where you want to go. Like, don't let other people's opinions sway you or change your opinions. You will have your gut feeling in knowing what you want to do. And have fun. Life's not that serious. If you take everything so seriously, you'll miss all the fun and character development moments that happen along the way. If you take everything so seriously, you kind of just miss out. Like, life's not that deep. The world's still spinning. Everybody's still on here with you. Might as well laugh along the way. So
absolutely.
That's all I got.
So what do you love about Baton Rouge?
The food is not as good as back home.
Whoa now. Whoa now.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Words.
Didn't mean to offend anybody, but I think the people, everyone that I've met or come encounter with, comes to the city for opportunity. It's something that's new. It's something that's refreshing. It's something that grows in development and opportunities. It's the realm of wanting people to progress. It literally, I mean, LSU is known for like the city of opportunity. It really has opened so many doors. And I think Baton Rouge nurtures that feeling, and it really does stand behind its people. Like if they know you went to school here, you're from here, you're visiting here, the people in the city want you to know that you are welcomed, but we're going to push you. We're going to push you to be the best version of yourself. We're going to give you opportunities that you can't have anywhere else. And I think that grounding, but also development mindset of the city is something that I will forever be grateful for.
I love that.
Thanks.
So for the final question, what can I do to help you?
I don't know. That's a good one. I don't really like to ask for help. But what's your best piece of advice from what you've heard the past hour?
Don't change.
Okay. Dive deeper.
So you've set yourself up on this course that you started back in high school, being involved in the community, being in this kind of lane of this pageant world, right? And so it comes with all these responsibilities, these roles, and also these requirements for you to partake in things. When the point in time comes in life where that is no longer, whatever point in time it may be, still do it because you love it, because it's who you are. Don't just look at it as a phase of life that you lived and you loved every minute of it. Look at it as a way of life that you're going to take even thereafter and figure out a way to integrate it into you as a person as you continue on. You mentioned, one day down the line, whenever you have a family and everything, bring them up in that same atmosphere, right? Doing something because you love it, regardless of the prize, regardless of getting a crown or sash, regardless of being on stage and having people recognize you. You want to do it because it's the right thing to do as a human, and never lose that about you.
That was good.
That's it. That's all I got.
That was good. That was good.
So that's it. That's the show. That's everything we've got planned for you today. Was it fun? Did you enjoy it?
Wait, that was so fun. I love to talk, so it was a great time.
Good.
I'm out of breath.
So
I'm out of breath.
Is there anything lasting thoughts, your last thoughts you want to give to the people, the great people of Baton Rouge, the great people of whatever the furthest country is that consumes the show?
Oh.
What's your final parting thoughts?
Final parting thoughts are, don't expect opportunities unless you're willing to chase them.
Boom.
Go out and get it yourself because no one's going to hand it to you.
Boom. Mic drop.
True.
I love that. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Thank you for spending the time with us in the studio and the bright yellow chairs and everything else that we have in here. This was a blast.
Real professional.
Well, thank you so much for telling your story and everything that you do. The representation you have of Baton Rouge makes me excited. Seeing what we can do for the city and hopefully attract and retain people to come here. It's fun.
It's a good place to be. Can't lie. It's great people. It's great people to represent. So I'm lucky to be able to do it.
Good. Well, thank you. And thank you everybody else for listening or watching the show, whatever platform you're consuming us on. This has been the latest episode of the Patty G Show. We'll be back here next week. See you then.